Welcome to the book podcast where inspiration meets transformation. We're thrilled to have you join us on this incredible journey of discovery and empowerment through the magic of books. Today, we have a special treat for you, a best-selling author whose incredible works have positively impacted lives around the world. Get ready to be inspired, motivated, and uplifted because we believe this conversation will spark a change in your life too. Let's dive in and unlock the wisdom within.
Welcome to today's deep dive. We're going to be exploring You First, Me Second by Pam Erickson. This book is all about building strong relationships and using that connection power to make a difference. We've got all our notes and highlights, so let's just jump right in and see what actionable gems we can unearth together.
Absolutely. Let's dive into the heart of this book and find those golden nuggets that you can start using right away.
Okay, so the book kicks off with this story that really grabbed me. Pam's a young girl facing family struggles, feeling lost and alone. Then Ginny, a family friend, steps into the picture. She sees Pam's distress and decides to totally shift her own schedule to focus on her. It's not like some big dramatic gesture, just pure focused attention.
It's that simple act of prioritizing another person's needs. That speaks volumes, doesn't it? Jeannie's not offering platitudes or quick fixes. She's offering something way more powerful, her undivided presence. And for Pam, that's exactly what she needed, to feel seen and heard. It's fascinating how such a small act had such a profound impact on Pam, shaping her entire outlook on life.
Totally. Pam talks about just sitting by Ginny's pool chatting, feeling like, for once, someone truly got her. And that feeling stayed with her for decades. What I found so striking was how Ginny's approach highlights the core principle of the book. You first, me second. It's not about being a pushover, it's about a mindset shift. Choosing to put others' needs before our own, even in small ways, can create this ripple effect of positive change.
Exactly. And the beauty is, it doesn't require grand gestures. The book is packed with stories, people from all walks of life, business leaders, volunteers, you name it, who are embodying this principle through small, consistent acts of kindness and consideration. It's about making those everyday interactions count.
Now, here's a story that I think really brings this idea to life. Pam spends over a year trying to get a donation from this warehouse manager named Joe. She calls him like clockwork. They even started swapping jokes during their calls. Can you believe the persistence?
That's not just persistence, that's building a genuine connection. It's like that saying, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Pam wasn't just after a donation. She was investing in a relationship.
It totally flips the script on how we usually approach these kinds of situations. What can our listener learn from Pam's dedication to connecting with Joe? How can we apply this kind of long-game thinking to our own relationships, whether personal or professional?
It reminds us that building trust takes time and consistent effort. We live in a world of instant gratification, but real, meaningful connections require patience and a willingness to go the extra mile. Just like Pam didn't give up on Joe, we shouldn't underestimate the power of showing up consistently and demonstrating genuine interest in others.
That's such a powerful takeaway. And it makes me think about another key concept in the book, becoming a connector. Pam tells this story about being a young PE teacher facing the dreaded field day event, which, let's be honest, can be a recipe for disaster. But she manages to turn it into this amazing celebration where every single kid feels like a winner.
That's the magic of a true connector, isn't it? They have this incredible ability to create environments where everyone feels seen, valued, and empowered to contribute.
It makes you wonder, what are the qualities that make someone a connector? Was it just Pam's intuition? Or was there something more deliberate in her approach?
I think it's a combination of both. Pam was clearly intuitive, but there's also a conscious effort to tap into each person's unique strengths. She focused on building confidence in every child, recognizing that everyone has something special to offer. It wasn't about forcing everyone into the same mold, it was about celebrating their individuality.
Okay, get ready for this next story. It's a real tearjerker. During a food distribution event, Pam encounters this little girl who has recently lost her mother. And in that moment, amidst all the chaos and hardship, they share this long, heartfelt hug.
It's a beautiful example of how genuine connection can transcend words.
Right. It wasn't about saying the right thing. It was about being present, offering comfort and empathy. What can we as listeners learn from this simple yet powerful act of kindness? It makes you think about how we can be more attuned to the unspoken needs of others, even in fleeting encounters.
Absolutely. It reminds us that we all crave connection, and that sometimes the most meaningful interactions are the ones where we simply offer our presence and a listening heart.
And sometimes those moments of connection happen in the most unexpected places. Like on a plane, for example.
Yeah.
Pam tells this hilarious story about securing a huge paper donation. During a plane ride, she jokingly calls it her 5-finger presentation to the guy sitting next to her. It's amazing how she was able to turn a random encounter into an opportunity to advocate for her cause.
That's what I find so inspiring about Pam. She's always ready to seize the moment, to connect the dots between a need and a solution, no matter where she is. It's like she carries that you first, me second spirit with her everywhere she goes.
It's infectious, right? Speaking of generosity, we have to talk about Justin, the onion grower. His story really exemplifies the true spirit of giving. Even when his own company was struggling, he went above and beyond to secure donations.
Justin's story is a great example of how generosity isn't about having an abundance of resources. It's about having an abundance of heart. He wasn't content with just doing the bare minimum. He was actively looking for ways to make a difference, even when it required personal sacrifice.
It really challenges the notion that we have to wait until we have enough before we can start giving back. And speaking of going above and beyond, the book also highlights the power of persistence. We see this in Pam's own mother's unwavering determination in raising her family. And again, in the incredible story of Luella, she read a news article about all this powdered milk going to waste. It just wouldn't let it go.
Luella's story is a prime example of how one person's passion and persistence can spark real change. She saw a problem and refused to accept it. It wasn't just about complaining, it was about finding a solution. And that's where Pam comes in. Together, they embarked on this incredible journey to get that milk to families in need.
And it wasn't a walk in the park, was it? We're talking about navigating government regulations, coordinating logistics. It took over a year. Talk about dedication.
It's a testament to the power of collaboration and sheer willpower. Pam and the USDA faced countless obstacles, but they just kept pushing forward, driven by their shared vision. And the result? They created this groundbreaking initiative that impacted countless families. It's a powerful reminder that even the most complex problems can be solved when we approach them with persistence and a collaborative spirit.
Okay, brace yourself for another heartwarming story. Donnie, a florist, continues to serve her community, even after losing her husband to cancer. It's like, how do you even find the strength to do that? What can we learn from Donnie's unwavering commitment?
Donnie's story is a beautiful example of how serving others can be a source of healing and strength. She found purpose and solace in carrying on the legacy she and her husband built together. It's a reminder that dedication isn't always about grand gestures. It's about showing up consistently, even when it's hard, and finding meaning in making a positive impact on the world around us.
It makes you realize that sometimes the most profound acts of service are the ones we perform. When we're going through our own struggles, now we see the same spirit of dedication in Bob and Allison, a couple who run a community center, and in Mr. Hyman, the businessman, who's always there to provide medical textiles for those in need. What is it about these individuals that makes them go above and beyond time and time again?
I think it's their unwavering belief in the importance of their work, Bob and Allison, even as they face their own health challenges, remain steadfast in their commitment to their community. And Mr. Hyman, he could easily just write a check and call it a day, but he goes further. He wants to make sure his donations are making a real difference. It's about going the extra mile, not for recognition, but out of a genuine desire to contribute to something larger than themselves.
It's like they've tapped into this wellspring of passion that fuels their actions. And speaking of passion, the book really highlights how this fiery emotion drives the you first, me second approach. Pam's own passion for advocating for those in need is contagious, and we see it reflected in individuals like BJ, the community leader, Mario, the lawyer, and Lynn, the tireless advocate for at-risk youth. It's like their passion is this superpower that enables them to move mountains.
Passion is the fuel that propels us forward. When the going gets tough, it's about connecting with a cause that resonates deeply with our values and ignites our enthusiasm. Like BJ, who transformed a good program into an exceptional one because of her passion for her community. Or Mario, who carves out time in his crazy schedule to help those in need because he's so passionate about people. And Lynn, she's a force of nature, driven by her unwavering love for her kids. It's amazing how passion can be this ripple effect, inspiring others to step up and join the movement.
Absolutely. And when passion meets consistency, extraordinary things can happen. Take Brittany, for example. She manages donations for a large nonprofit and has built this incredible relationship with Coca-Cola.
What's her secret sauce?
Trust and consistency. Brittany has earned the respect of her corporate partners because she consistently delivers on her promises. She maintains the highest standards, ensuring that donations are handled with care and used effectively. It's a great lesson in building sustainable partnerships. It's like the business world's version of you first, me second, right? By prioritizing the needs and trust of her partners, Brittany is able to create win-win situations. And speaking of integrity, Stephanie's story really touched me. Her unwavering faith and commitment to serving others shine through in her work with children and teens. How does she embody the you first, me second principle in her daily life?
Stephanie is a walking example of living out your values. Her dedication to her faith and her community is reflected in every action she takes. She doesn't just talk the talk, she walks the walk. And her integrity, even when faced with challenging situations, is an inspiration to those around her.
It's a reminder that true leadership isn't about titles, it's about impact. Now, Pam shares a story about an encounter with a homeless man in Chicago. That really made me stop and think. What struck you about that experience?
That story beautifully highlights the power of seeing the individual, beyond their circumstances. Pam witnessed this off-duty detective, Jim, going above and beyond to care for those experiencing homelessness. It wasn't about judgment, it was about compassion. It's a reminder that we all have a role to play in creating a more humane and caring society.
It's like Jim was channeling that you first, me second spirit, without even realizing it. His actions speak volumes about the impact we can have when we approach others with empathy and a willingness to help. Now, I'm curious, how can we apply the you first, me second principle to our own personal and professional relationships? Are there specific strategies or techniques we can implement?
It's about making a conscious effort to shift our focus from me to we. In our personal lives, it could be as simple as being a better listener, offering a helping hand, or celebrating someone else's successes. In our professional lives, it might look like acknowledging a colleague's contributions, being a supportive team player, or mentoring someone who's just starting out.
It's about creating a ripple effect of generosity and appreciation. And speaking of appreciation, Pam tells the story of Mariella, who crochets blankets for babies. It's such a simple act, yet it brings so much joy to others. What does Mariella's dedication teach us about cultivating a giving spirit?
Mariella's story reminds us that generosity isn't about grand gestures. It's about using our talents and resources to make a positive impact, no matter how small. It's about finding those little ways to brighten someone's day, to offer comfort, to make a difference. And the beauty is, we all have something to give. Whether it's our time, our skills, our resources, or simply a listening ear, there are countless ways to make a difference in the lives of others.
And those seemingly small acts of kindness can have a ripple effect, inspiring others to pay it forward and creating a more compassionate world. Now, Pam gets incredibly personal in the book, sharing her own experience as a young unwed mother. It's such a vulnerable and powerful story. What can we learn from her willingness to share such a personal part of her life?
I think it underscores the importance of empathy and understanding, especially when we encounter people who may have had different life experiences than our own. It's a reminder that everyone has a story. And those stories, both the joys and the struggles, shape who we are. By being open to listening and learning from others, we create a space for genuine connection and support.
It's a powerful reminder that we all have a story to tell, and that sharing our vulnerabilities can create a bridge of understanding. Now, Pam's sister Linda was a fierce advocate for special needs children. What made Linda such an effective advocate?
Linda's passion for her students was truly inspiring. She saw their potential, their unique strengths, and she fought tirelessly to make sure they received the support they needed to thrive. Her unwavering dedication reminds us that we all have a voice, and we can use it to champion causes we believe in, even when it feels daunting.
It's like that saying, be the change you want to see in the world. Linda didn't just sit back and wait for things to change. She actively worked to make that change happen. And speaking of taking action, remember Pam's 5-finger presentation on the plane? It's such a great example of how we can be prepared to advocate for causes we care about, even in unexpected situations.
It's a reminder that advocacy isn't always about grand speeches or formal presentations. It's about being able to articulate your passion in a clear, concise, and compelling way, even in a casual setting. It's about seizing those everyday opportunities to connect with others and spark their interest.
And sometimes the most powerful advocacy comes from the most unexpected sources, like Kenny, who played a pivotal role in launching a community food distribution program with the Baltimore Ravens. What made Kenny such an effective advocate?
Kenny's enthusiasm was contagious. He had this genuine care for his community that just drew people in. He was able to rally support from the Ravens players, UPS employees, and countless volunteers, creating this incredible ripple effect of generosity. It shows the power of collaboration and how one person's vision can inspire a whole community to come together.
It's amazing how Kenny's passion ignited a movement. Now, throughout the book, we see examples of servant leadership, this idea of leading with a you first, me second heart. Jim, the community leader who spearheaded the Operation SCORE program, is a perfect example. What makes him such an effective leader?
Jim embodies the true essence of servant leadership. He's always putting the needs of others before his own, leading by example, and working alongside those he serves. He doesn't just delegate, he gets his hands dirty, and his unwavering integrity and infectious enthusiasm inspire others to follow his lead.
It's a leadership style that's rooted in empathy, in understanding, in truly putting the needs of others first. As we wrap up our deep dive into you first, me second, what's the one thing you hope our listener takes away from this conversation?
I hope they're inspired to embrace the you first, me second principle in their own lives. In whatever way resonates with them. It's not about a specific formula. It's about a mindset shift, a commitment to putting others first, and making a positive impact on the world around us.
It's a call to action, to look for those everyday opportunities to make a difference, whether it's through a simple act of kindness, a grand gesture of generosity, or simply being more present in our interactions with others.
Exactly. And it's a journey, not a destination. We're all constantly learning and growing. And this book provides a roadmap filled with inspiring stories and practical guidance to help us along the way.
So as our listener goes about their week, we have a final thought-provoking question for them to ponder. If you could create one relationship merger this week, a moment of genuine connection that could potentially ripple outward, what would it be? And if this conversation has sparked a desire to delve deeper into the power of building meaningful relationships and making a difference, I highly encourage you to check out Pam Erickson's book, You First, Me Second. It's a treasure trove of inspiration and practical wisdom. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep those connections strong.
What an amazing discussion we've had today. I'm sure each of you found valuable insights that will truly transform your lives. Until we meet again, keep shining bright and embrace a life full of gratitude. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Stay blessed.